I'm actually working in about 3 sketchbooks right now for some reason. I don't know why, but I am. Today, I'm going to give you a tour of this sketchbook. The story to my sketchbook, I actually think that when I got this sketchbook, is around the time that I actually really started enjoying making art. I think I had started making art maybe like a year before, but it was just like kind of here and there on some old like frames I would thrift from my local thrift store because they were cheap and they came framed. So I would just paint over whatever was already in there. And then when I got this sketchbook about a year later and got my first oil pastels, that kind of really is what took me into a space of making art that I really like, enjoying my art making process, and also feeling a bit more free to explore in my art because a sketchbook is a place where you don't have to be perfect and there's no expectations. So, yeah, I think this is like a nice little beginning to my art journey. For some reason, I decided to draw a car, and this is the end result. I think it took me like 2 days, and I started this in the park during a picnic with some friends, and it was really fun to make. I love the pink highlights on the windows. I think they're kind of weird and like not quite accurate. Wee 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 wee. How am I doing? Another one of my favorites, spreads. They're kind of these like really wonky, blobby flowers that I kind of think are like tulips in my mind. They don't really look like tulips. I mean, no flower actually really looks like this, but I really like these because of how imperfect they are. I think I spend a lot of time, or have spent a lot of time in the past, trying to make very crisp, perfect art, and I am not a very crisp or perfect person, so that was always really frustrating for me, trying to make really perfect, seamless looking illustrations or art. And when I finally let go of that and was like, I'm just gonna kind of go for it and draw the first, basically run with the first iteration of a sketch. And this is how it came out. I did 2 of them. The first one was a test, and then I was like, oh, let's do another one. That was kind of fun. So yeah, I also here am like practicing with some like really intentionally horrible shading and highlighting. I like it when it looks kind of fucked up and messy, and wrong. So yeah, just kind of practicing that, having fun with it, learning, exploring. Found it. This is my scribble page, which is pretty much where I clean off my oil pastels because they all live in a box together. They're all super dirty, and they need a good scribbling before you use them. Oh my gosh, there's so many fun things in here. Here's another one of my favorites. I have never worn a pair of cowboy boots. I've never owned cowboy boots. I'm just not that kind of girl. I'm not gonna wear them. But I really like this spread because they're kind of like a funky shape. Yeah, and the bong is kind of absolutely my favorite object. I created a little homage to my buddy, my bong. Okay, another one of my favorites. These chairs that I painted when I was in Canada one summer. There were just these like red lawn chairs out in this garden that I was painting in, and I wanted to try painting the chairs without a sketch at all, and I wanted to do it as Simply, as possible, just like without a lot of thought, and just painting exactly what I see in kind of the simplest shape form possible. And then I went back with black and like kind of carved out some details. And I love these chairs. I want to do some giant paintings of these chairs. There's something about them that I'm super into. And you can see like a little peek through of the sketch that was on this page beforehand. I always tell people who are afraid of starting a sketchbook because they're afraid of being bad, that you can just paint over whatever horrible thing that you've drawn, or painted. You know what? Like, cover it up and start again until you get something you like. So, another one I really love is this blue dog. I think that he's kind of weird. His back leg is like really long, and or maybe that's his tail and he has no back legs. I don't really know what's going on with him, but I really like the shape of everything and the colors and the simplicity. It definitely reminds me of something that I would build in Illustrator or like on my computer digitally more than anything, but it's kind of cool to see that translated through painting. And like my brain is working in a similar way, because I'm so digital focused. I think I just live and breathe that every day. I painted a whole horse. I really love polka dots. I don't know why, but I love polka dots and I don't like wearing them, really. I wish I liked wearing them. I think if I could, I would wear polka dots every day, but I don't like the way they look on me, so I just resort to wearing polka dot socks. I don't think I actually was heartbroken when I created this one. I don't think I was heartbroken when I created this piece in my sketchbook, but I was heartbroken when I made the giant painting version of this. And although I am not heartbroken anymore, I am very happy and in love. I really like the truck and I really like the heart in it, and so I wanted to make it again in here for fun in green. One of my favorite spreads in this sketchbook are these two butterflies that I did while I was in New York, another time for fun. I think I actually was cat sitting for someone this time, and I loved that. I went to this show, this art gallery, where all of these giant butterflies were displayed. I can't remember the name of the artist right now, but I will put it somewhere on screen or down in the description, however this works. I will get you that info. Anyways, there were these massive paintings of butterflies that were in this show, and I was super into them, super inspired. And so I think immediately after the show, I found the closest coffee shop and went and made these while I sat there by myself. Had a little, maybe a little cortado, and did some art. So sometimes I paint things or sketch things in a smaller version before I paint them. But I think that that is probably only if I have a commission will I do that intentionally. Otherwise, most of the time I'm working in my sketchbook with no intention of ever um, recreating a piece from it. But if I really, really like it, then I will maybe take it into a larger form. And sometimes it's years after I have sketched something or worked in my sketchbook that I even recreate a piece. So most of the time, that intention is not there, and I'm just trying to make whatever I can in the best way I can in that moment. Here's one that I really love. This actually is a test sketch for a bigger piece because I was commissioned to create a pig on fire. I can't remember if the pitchfork was part of the commission, but that makes sense.
Okay, love you. Bye.